today, really, is a deep dive into the spiritual side, the history of the Thiruvanai Kovil Temple. You might know it as Thiruvavanikabal. We've got this really interesting source text that seems to capture, well, not just how old it is, but the kind of personal impact it has.
Yeah, and I think what jumps out right away is this idea that the place dwells deep into history. It's not just presented as, an old building. There's this sense of almost like a spiritual economy. We're trying to figure out, based on this source, what specific experiences it offers for like self-renewal and connecting with that history.
Right, and the source points immediately to something quite tangible, something about the experience itself being key. It highlights this really unique feature, the Jamawara.
Ah, the water.
Yeah, exactly. The water that literally wells up in a main sanctuary. I mean, just think about that symbolism for a second. This constant, fresh source right there at the heart of things.
It's powerful. That unique water feature, life sustaining itself inside the sanctuary.
Yeah.
It ties directly into the atmosphere the source describes. This pious climate suggests it teaches self-sufficiency, maybe a kind of spiritual grounding. And then visually, apparently, the sight of an elephant in service appears is magnificent.
Wow. So you've got the sacred ritual, nature, history, all in one image.
Exactly. A really potent combination.
Okay, so how does that physical awe, that whole environment, actually affect someone psychologically? The source seems pretty clear on this.
It does. It suggests an almost immediate relief. It mentions biting worries one gives up, sure. Like the atmosphere itself triggers a kind of release.
A letting go. So it's not just being impressed, it's actively changing your mental state.
That seems to be the claim, and it gets quite specific. The source says the temple liberates you from mere fantasies, which is interesting phrasing, isn't it? It suggests the place acts like an anchor to reality, helping you sort of shed anxieties, maybe self-created illusions.
How does it do that, does the source say?
Well, it links it to adhering to divinity. The idea seems to be that focusing on the divine, the sacred, helps the mind renunciate fallacies. So it's like a mental cleanse almost, using devotion as the tool.
Right, okay. And this isn't just a one-time thing, a quick fix.
No, not at all. The source really emphasizes continuity. It states that the regular rituals provides you self-renewal. That's key. It frames it as a continuous practice, a discipline, not just a fleeting feeling.
So the structure of the rituals themselves keeps that renewal going. Makes sense. And then how does this connect outwards from the individual?
Well, the source explicitly bridges that. It talks about mixing with the inspired crowd, self-attains heightening revival. So there's a collective element.
Shared energy. Being part of something bigger amplifies your own experience.
Precisely. And that sense of shared experience, the humility that comes from being part of this crowd, this tradition, that's what the source says fosters cultural identity.
Ah, okay. So it's not just your renewal. It's plugging into a whole lineage, a culture,
Right.
Worshipping many a deity, sensing the past.
Yeah, sensing the past and having regard for it. It's about understanding your place within that longer story. Ultimately, the source suggests that the moments you spend there, because of all this, they become noble.
Noble moments. That links the personal change to something, bigger, something lasting.
Exactly. It connects that individual discipline, that renewal you get from the rituals and the unique environment, directly to this grounding in history and cultural legacy.
So summing it up then, for anyone listening, what's the core takeaway from this source about Thiruvanai Kovil?
I think it really presents this dual impact. On one hand, it offers intense personal renewal, self-discipline through its very specific features, like the water, the rituals. But at the same time, it grounds you firmly in a collective identity, a deep cultural history. It does both simultaneously.
Right, and that brings us to a final thought, something the source touches on right at the end. It says that visitors, impressed by everything, they pledge to safeguard the temple. So here's the question to ponder. What does that act, that pledge to protect a place with such deep history, such profound personal renewal, what does that tell us about how much we actually value these kinds of, these noble moments? Something to think about. And with that thought, you now have the core knowledge from this particular deep dive.